What's going on, everybody? Listen, it is currently April 15th, about 3 in the morning, right? And I'm officially 19 years old. So to celebrate, I want to make a video of telling you guys what would I do if I could start over at 18 years old? How would I have lived 18 a little bit differently, right? Just to hopefully give you guys some advice on how you should spend your year 18. Now everybody's different, so take this advice with a grain of salt. Now I didn't plan this video, so this is gonna be 100% raw, and I'm gonna be thinking on the spot. So if I were to start from 18 again, very broadly, what I would say first is I would take more risks. I would take a lot more risks in my year 18 than I did, and the reason for that is there was a lot of opportunities that I believe I could have captivated on that I didn't get a chance to because of me being afraid to take a risk, right? And this is in multiple aspects of life. This could be a new job. This can be an opportunity to kickstart something new without waiting too long. This could be so many things. So if I was to live year 18 again, my I guess title would be to take risks. Take risks. That would be the title in which I would kind of base my year off of, right? So with that being said, if I had to start from the beginning and do 18 again, when I turn 18, the first thing I would do is get a clearer vision of my genuine purpose of the world, right? I made a vision, and I made multiple videos about how to create a vision. Now, what I would do is I would go back and start by creating my purpose. What is my purpose for wanting to do everything that I do first, right? Now I have a pretty clear idea of my purpose, right? If you ask me, hey Zay, what is your purpose for doing what you do? I would tell you that my purpose is to inspire others and help other people grow and to be an example of what is possible in this world regardless of your circumstances, right? I would tell you that that is my purpose for doing everything that I do, right? And the reason why you want to become very clear on your purpose is because your purpose is the root of everything. The days that you feel demotivated to do stuff, your purpose is what keeps you going. The day that you feel like you forget what you're doing this for, you understand that your purpose, what is your purpose? And it helps you to keep going. So I would establish my purpose much earlier on if I was 18 years old, and that's exactly where I would start. Moving forward, let's see, what would I do after establishing my purpose? I think I would honestly do less planning at 18 years old. I think at 18 years old, and this is 2024, so 2024 is when I started my first vision board. If it was me, after creating the vision board, I would do a lot less planning, a lot less scheduling, and a lot less to-do lists and planning, right? Because now that I'm 19 years old, right, what I've learned in the past 6 months or so is that to-do lists and creating these kind of schedules is a very slippery slope, because you get in the habit of creating, sitting there spending so much time planning without putting in enough action, right? So in my life, I've kind of flipped the script now to where I make sure I do a lot more action than I do planning. So I'm not gonna sit here and plan 50 videos in advance without even recording one video, right? I'd rather record 10 videos, they have them all be terrible, and then be able to come up with, all right, which videos worked and which ones didn't. What do I need to fix? Is this topic boring? Do I need to shorten my intro? I'd rather get those terrible videos out first and then refine it later, right? I'd rather get 50 social media posts scheduled for the entire month than to plan out 50 days of social media videos, right? Whatever doesn't work, doesn't work. But I'd rather be consistent and put in the action. I would prioritize action over planning. So that would be thing number 2. So far we got understanding my purpose and kind of keying my purpose, and then we have to prioritize action over planning. After that, I think step 3 for me would be I'd probably go outside more. I probably would have, if I were to start back at 18, I'd go outside more, right? So I spent a lot of time inside, on spending hours working, recording videos, planning, just everything you could think of. And I didn't spend much time outside. I didn't really build too many strong relationships. I didn't really hang out with friends too much. I did here and there, but not as much as I think you should. Now, I think it's easy to get caught up in working and working hard. And don't get me wrong, it's really good to work hard, but it's also really important that you keep relationships, right? I was at church the other day, right? It's currently Tuesday at 3 a.m. I was at church on Sunday morning, and somebody gave a speech, and it made me instantly think about relationships and how, as people, right, we cannot be perfect on this earth. It is impossible for us to be perfect individuals on this earth, but we all have our own strengths and weaknesses, right? So my strengths might not be your strengths. My weaknesses may not be your weaknesses, but if you have strengths and I have strengths in this world, and we come together and build a strong relationship, and you inspire me and I inspire you to be better, my strengths are now being laid onto you and your strengths are now being laid onto me. We now have a stronger understanding of what we lack as people. And to have these strong relationships, it allows us to build something very strong, because now we have a stronger foundation. So if I'm weak in this area and I see you're strong in this area, and I say, wow, you really inspire me to be better in this area, and I commit to that, then that's already me improving as an individual. We can improve together. So relationships are very important, but I also want to say that the relationships are also very important. Don't just try to have a relationship with just anybody, right? Because I've also learned that you cannot force things onto people. So much in my life I've committed to try to help others be better, right? As I am also currently trying to allow myself to be better. But I had to learn that you can't force it into everybody, right? It's more than enough that you're doing your part to even attempt to try to help somebody else, but you cannot force somebody else to make changes in their life, right? You cannot force them. You can only guide them and assist them in their journey. You can't force somebody to change their life around. So if I were to go into thing number 4, I would say to understand my kind of limit, right? Now, I don't believe you should ever give up on anybody, but I had to understand that I can't fix everyone. As much as I would like to help everybody, I don't have all the tools, and honestly, it doesn't even just come down to me. It also comes down to the willingness of the person to want to change, right? The willingness of the person to submit and understand, to listen to another individual, right? I am not God. I will never be as great as God or anything like that, but I do believe that I have the strength and the power to be on this earth and to push God's word and to do some of God's work, right? And to be kind of a helper in a sense, right? So in that case, I can do all I can do by spreading my word and helping others to open their eyes and understand what they lack in this world, right? Through my own experience. I can never speak on things I haven't been through, but you can't force somebody though. So that would be thing number 4. Thing number 5, let's stop it at 5. Thing number 5, if I were to do 18 over again, I think I would talk more about my personal life at 18. I think I spent a lot of time, and it's still a habit that's very hard to break, but it's hard for me to allow myself to openly discuss my world to other people, for multiple reasons. I've never been a guy who likes to let people in and to dictate what I do and give opinions on the kind of lifestyle that I live, because I've always gotten negative results from doing that. But I had to learn to understand that everybody isn't bad people, right? So not everybody has negative intentions behind what they do. A lot of people can be positive. A lot of people may have resources that you can use to help push your goals, right? There's certain people that have resources that I don't have, that may align with my goals in this life, that can help me push forward, right? So to deny myself of that would be a strong disservice. So I would definitely talk more about my vision, talk more about my goals in this world. And if people don't accept that, then that is 100% okay. But to just put it out in the world and to have people understand your mission, you can have people who can help you out, right? And push your whole thing. So I think that would be thing number 5. So that wraps up 5 things I would do if I started over again at 18. And hopefully any of you 18-year-olds out there can watch this and take this advice and implement it into your own life. And if you do, go ahead and hit me up and tell me how it's affecting you, how it's changing your life. And I'd love to hear from all y'all. If y'all want to see more videos like this, should be a video on the screen here soon. Thank you for joining us.